All right, some more news, unfortunate or perhaps negative news coming out of CD Projekt Red. And last week we talked about another delay for Cyberpunk 2077. The game will now be coming out on December 10th, which, when the news broke, many people noted means another 21 days of crunch for the team there. But apparently, not everybody is convinced that crunch will be occurring or that crunch has occurred at the studio. Uh, one of the execs at CD Projekt Red, joint CEO Adam, and I'm gonna mispronounce that, Kaczynski said in an investor call that the crunch is, quote, not that bad. And this comes courtesy of a lot of places, but Jeremy Winslow at GameSpot. He said it's not that bad because, quote, some employees are happy with the extra 3 weeks. The full quote that he said to his investors, which what you say to your investors and what you say to the public are two very different things, which is why I'm very happy that people publish stories about this stuff. He said, regarding crunch, actually, it's not that bad. It never was. Of course, it's a story that has been picked up by the media, and some people have been crunching heavily, but a large part of the team is not crunching at all since they have finished their work. It's mostly about QA, and engineers, programmers, but it's not that heavy. Naturally, this was not received well by people on social media or just generally. And he subsequently apologized to the team at CD Projekt Red for his comments, saying, quote, his comments were, quote, demeaning and harmful, and just flat out calling them utterly bad. Quote, I had not wanted to comment on crunch, yet I still did, and I did it in a demeaning and harmful way. What I said was not even unfortunate. It was utterly bad, he said in an alleged email to the team. I only bring this up because just the narrative around this game and around CD Projekt Red has been interesting to track over the course of the time we've been talking about this. I mean, you say what you do to your investors to sell. You're trying to sell to them that things are going fine, and this is certainly what I'm not sure if he believes this or not. He's an executive, so he's obviously somewhat removed from what is actually happening in his company, but it's definitely not a great look, especially as like the conversation around this game has pretty much been consumed by talk of crunch over the past few weeks. And it's worth saying, like, from all reports, from Game Informer, from Schreier over at Bloomberg, like, people are crunching on this game. Like, it's not a matter of debate, and it's not, as he says, not that bad. People are devoting 100-hour work weeks to this game, so it's worth just pointing that out.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail right on the head on what was happening here. He's on an investor's call. They've been in the news for this, and he just tried to present it as not that bad, and
tried to downplay it.
Yeah.
From what it sounds like, just off of the comments here, is that like this wasn't a part of like his presentation or anything. He just kind of got off the rails at some point and ended up on talking about crunch, and then realized his audience and was like this wasn't him like going into the call saying, all right, damage control with the investors, we got to talk about crunch and let them know like it's not that bad. Like there was no plan around this. And the thing about investor calls is they're not private things, right? Like a publicly traded company, you can go and listen to their calls. Anybody can, you know, you don't have to be an investor. And so yeah, very, very strange and rather unfortunate for this man to have found himself in this situation. I mean, can't catch a break on this stuff. Like let's just recognize that what is being done and that is what's being required right now is shitty. And the best thing to probably do right at this point is just get this game out the door and then figure out how to not let it happen again. You know? Like, let's... If you're an executive at CD Projekt Red, like, don't belabor the point by bringing it up when you don't have to.
Yeah, and maybe someone asked him about it. I doubt maybe any of the people in investors call are really concerned about the state of labor conditions at your company, but yeah, maybe just like if you're gonna address it, just like address it head on, and like don't. I mean, you can try to minimize it, but ultimately it's not going to come off great regardless of what you say. I also like it's also worth noting that like in this call that he also indicated further that like the reason for the delay is the PS4 and Xbox One versions of Cyberpunk 2077, and that's been a growing concern, I think, among people, especially those that aren't going to be able to get the new consoles at launch. And so on top of like the kind of shitty way he addressed the current situation, it's cast further down my mind as to how this game will run on these consoles. I won't say I am extremely concerned, but I am concerned. Obviously, they want the best product out the door as possible. I am not beyond thinking that this game will get delayed another time.
I shared a meme in one of the Discords. I can't remember if it was mine or the PVA one, but have you seen the meme floating around? It is their like bright yellow letter they sent out, but it just says Cyberpunk was never in development.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't think it can be delayed.
It can't.
I think it can.
I saw there's also a meme that's like, since the announcement of Cyberpunk 2077, we've watched 17 Marvel films, 3 Star Wars movies. It was just listing all the major pop culture things that have happened. It's incredible.